everyone, and welcome back to another episode right here on Revv Inspiration. And our special guest today is a urologist and andrologist in the private practice group Asian Healthcare Specialist, or AHS. As a medical specialist, he manages kidney stones, prostate problems, and also men with sexual and reproductive problems. And with his busy schedule, would you believe it, he's also co-founder and of Singapore's boutique chocolate maker alll, which churns out some delicious chocolates with his team of artisans at alll, which we had the pleasure of experiencing a couple of months ago. So let's give a big warm welcome to Dr. Joe Lee, who is the Senior Consultant Urologist and Andrologist at Asian Healthcare Specialists, Mount Elizabeth Novena Specialist Centre. Dr. Joe, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, hi Renee, thanks for having me.
No worries.
Hello everybody.
That's right. A quick little intro about how I met Dr. Joe before we dive into the questions itself. So I met Dr. Joe during an event at alll. We were talking about his chocolates and everything else.
Right.
And then when he told when I was wondering why is everybody calling him Dr. Joe. I thought it was a hit name to call him. Then I realized that Dr. Joe is actually a urologist, which made me decide to discuss with him about talking about his chocolate and also giving you an idea of some medical topics, which we'll be talking about in just a bit. But for right now, Dr. Joe,
Yes,
let's
Renee.
discuss the alll.
Yes.
All right, I've got a couple of questions for you, which I think everybody out there wants to know as well. First of all, can you please tell us a bit more about yourself, Dr. Joe, and why did you decide to get into the F&B industry?
Okay, so Renee, I'm just a regular Singapore guy, right?
Right.
So I had a chance to study medicine in NUS after my junior college days.
Okay.
And from there, subsequently, I had the chance to specialize in the field of urology,
Right.
learn surgery, and that was quite enjoyable. So in my maybe late 20s, that was when I got interested in chocolate making, and then I got bitten by the entrepreneurial bug, and then I started this chocolate company with my chocolatier friend. So that's how I entered the chocolate business.
Right. So I mean, of all things, why chocolate? I mean, I was really, I was wondering why chocolate. I mean, there's so many other business industries to go to. Why chocolate?
Okay, so number one, chocolate making is quite therapeutic.
Yes.
So I enjoy the peace when you're making chocolates.
Okay.
And the other thing is, one thing about surgery, right, is that you do help people, which is what I want to do.
Correct.
But to help people, you often have to inflict a bit of pain.
That's right.
No pain, no gain.
Definitely.
So that can be quite stressful. and chocolate itself is a bit different. It's straight off. It's a happy food. You produce it. People enjoy it. There's joy, and you're bringing joy right away without all the pain.
Right. So I can imagine. So because I correct me if I'm wrong. The logic would be that on one hand, as a surgeon, you're giving so-called pain to people, right? But with chocolate, you're giving them the other spectrum, which is pleasure in chocolate.
Just joy, no
Exactly.
pain.
Correct. Okay. So let me jump to my next question. alll is a joint collaboration with yourself and I believe your partner, who is an experienced chocolatier. Tell us a bit more about how this collaboration came about and what are some of the challenges you are facing in this industry.
Oh yeah. So it was I was interested in chocolate making, but obviously I didn't know how to make chocolate. So I attended classes, and one of these classes of chocolate making, I met my partner Josephine. She's a chocolatier, a master chocolatier.
Right. Okay.
She was quite willing to share and teach how to make chocolates. At the time, I think she was also looking to start a venture. So I was also interested in chocolate. So that's how we had a chance to work together to start a company, start up production. Okay. And from there, eventually created the brand alll.
Okay. And what, as I mentioned, what are some of the challenges facing? I can imagine that to start a business from scratch is not easy. So what are the teething problems you had in the beginning?
So that time was a foolish start. I know there wasn't much of planning.
Okay.
And one of the challenges certainly is number one, being in the medical field, a doctor.
Right.
I have zero experience in business.
Right.
So a lot of things I didn't know. I had to learn it the hard way.
Okay.
For example, even simple things like sales, marketing, I don't know how to do it. I'm not very good at it, handling people, like handling the landlord for rental, the suppliers. All that took a bit of time to learn, to figure out what was the way to manage. But the good thing is it's a little bit like what I do in medicine. Somebody comes to see you, they have a problem, right?
Exactly.
So you diagnose it, right? This is the problem, and then look for solutions.
Yes.
And usually there'll be solution A, B, C, D. You know, work it down, and bit by bit, I learned to solve those problems for business.
And I guess, like with any business, there's always this so-called trial by fire period where you have to go through all, as you mentioned, all the problems and how to work through it. And I think at the end of the day, it helps you build the experience moving down the road to help better manage the business itself.
Oh, that definitely. I mean, it brings satisfaction.
Correct,
I mean,
exactly.
business, there has to be problems,
Exactly.
right? Business is about solving problems. So each time you overcome some challenges,
Right.
you feel good about it, you know, and that keeps you going. Like, there's a great sense of satisfaction, you know.
And I think one thing that really struck me when I first met you was, the passion. When I was talking to you about chocolates, you were so, enthusiastic. So, I knew immediately, hey, this guy, loves what he does, chocolate. And I think it's very important when you do a business. Passion has to come first. Because without the passion, you're just doing it for money, and then I think it's just going to go in a whole different direction. All right, and on to my next question. The chocolate industry has a lot of brands with different followings. And how does Choco Elf stand apart from the rest?
Yeah, so there are indeed a lot of chocolate brands around, whether these big international brands or even regional brands, local brands. So my take on business is, yes, you monitor what others are doing, but focus more, spend more energy on what you are doing, what you're good at,
yes,
and what kind of experience or value you can bring to your customers. Because after all, as a business, right, our aim is really to bring joy and satisfaction to our customers. So after a while, I realized that the Choco Elf has a mission, and the mission is to become a brand, bring a nice experience to people, make sure customers find joy in coming to Choco Elf. So I think we have evolved. Now we are not just like a chocolate making company. It's not just a commodity. We want to make sure what we create has meaning and can bring joyful experience to our customers.
And to add on to it, I mean, your location at South Beaches, I think is really ideal because honestly, when I was there, we had all the tourists coming in and they were looking at all the different kind of flavors of chocolates. And that I think is, like you mentioned, it's to bring a different point of view or different experience in terms of chocolates to people out there.
Yeah.
Okay, which brings me now to my next question, which I think is really interesting which everybody might want to know out there. I love some of the local flavors that you have infused into your chocolate creations. What is your most challenging chocolate creation?
Well, okay, so when we started Choco Elf many years ago, I think the general trend in chocolate was a lot of European, a lot of different quality chocolate. So for us, it was trying to make a name, Singapore style, Singapore brand of chocolate. Yeah, so but Singapore, although is a multi-cultural, there are many different style of food around, but infusing the Singapore flavor itself was what I always thought necessary. We wanted to do, but wasn't that easy. But we have been quite successful in that. We have created one of the best seller for our brand, at least. The Kaya chocolate bar.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Yeah, I love that one. Actually, folks, I actually bought a few home after testing it at Dr.Joe's at Choco Elf. It was excellent.
Yeah. Then the other thing that that I thought I'm quite proud of is infusing durian, real durian, not the flavoring, the actual flavor from natural durian.
But is that one out yet? Because I didn't remember seeing it.
I didn't present it because
okay.
That day was tasting, right? If you have eaten the durian, you won't be able to taste the rest of the stuff.
Okay.
So no durian that day.
Okay. Because I don't remember seeing durian.
No durian
that day. Okay, fine.
But the other thing about that I find challenging is putting savory flavors into chocolate.
That's
because chocolate traditionally is sweet, sweet in terms of taste, right? So getting something savory, a bit salty, or even spicy in, that has been a challenge. But after so many years of trial and error and figuring out, getting feedback from customers, relooking how to make things better in the lab, I think we have now figured out how to blend the two tastes together. So recently, I think you tasted the chicken floss.
Oh yes.
Yeah, the chicken floss chocolate.
Was nice.
Yeah, then the other one that I'm quite proud of will be the soya sauce, the soya brew chocolate.
I had that as well. I remember tasting it as well. That's nice. And I think one of the really good things that you've done, Dr. Joe, is the fact that you've also come up with this sustainability angle, which you told me that you're actually working with one of your collaborators where you use sustainable products to create a chocolate, which I think is really a good way. Was it what was it, the soya bean?
Oh yeah, that's right. So one of our collaborator is this. I think it's a more than 70-year-old brand in Singapore called Taihua. They are famous for their soya sauce,
exactly,
right? And each month, right? After soya sauce, you realize there's a fermentation process,
right? Yes.
Soya bean they put in the urn and then ferment it. Then at the end, after the soya sauce is extracted, a lot of these soya beans, they are unused. They are actually disposed of.
Correct.
And they were disposing like tons of it every month. So. But I looked at it. Yes, it's not soya sauce, but it's quite flavorful, right?
Yes.
So I thought it could become like a food ingredient.
Right.
So in our collaboration, what we did was Taihua actually did their own R&D.
Okay.
They took their residue. They actually freeze dried it into powder form. So that's not only nutritious, it's flavorful.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And we used it for that. And
correct.
I think from the angle, they have now moved along with this. How would I say? It's like upcycling of their product. Like they're trying to develop it into other food substances that can be used. So it's a win-win situation when we collaborated with them.
Which I think is a really excellent idea. Is the fact that you're doing this, and especially with a local company. So it's working hand in hand with local companies and using what they have, to cut down on wastage, which I think is excellent. So the other thing I can, my idea was even you could probably do it with chocolate beans as well, because a lot of this chocolate, like so-called husks that you throw away, I can see them. That was just an idea.
Yeah, but I think the effort to upcycle to make it sustainable is always there.
Correct.
So maybe some time, some effort has to be invested, but eventually I think we'll get there.
Okay. And my final question for you, it's for all you entrepreneurs out there who has in mind to come up with a new business and be like Dr. Joe here. And what advice would you give to entrepreneurs out there who are looking to start their own business?
Okay. I'm a bad example.
No, you're a great example. Yeah.
I started without a business plan. So but after so many years of being an entrepreneur, I think I have some experience I can share. Definitely. Which is number one, for entrepreneurs who are looking at starting, I think it's very important to spend enough time to not just understand the industry where your product, where your know-how is going to be, but take time to also understand yourself.
Right.
What drives you? What energizes you? What makes you want to go on, and what brings you satisfaction? Right. Why I say that is because this road of entrepreneurship is actually quite a long journey. It's many times unending journey.
I understand.
It takes a lot of perseverance, endurance, and grit. So there has to be something that makes you, that gives you energy, that makes you want to continue even when you face difficulty and keep going. Right? So I think adequate time to understand oneself is extremely important.
Definitely. Yeah, I totally agree with Dr. Joe, and I believe that it's with everything, you gotta have patience and endurance to carry on in the business. And with that, I want to say a very big Revv Evolution thank you to Dr. Joe here for being with us here on Revv Inspiration and sharing this his background about himself and also about Choco Elf, and giving out some really useful advice for those of you wanting to venture out there and be an entrepreneur just like himself. And guess what, folks? We're going to see Dr. Joe once again this time around. He's not going to be talking about chocolates, but we're going to be in a series, which I'll be discussing more about that in just a bit. And also at the same time, we want to say a very big Revv Inspiration thank you to Eurocars Auto for allowing us to have the BMW iX3, which we are driving in right now.
Very nice ride.
for our conversation. And do remember to drop us your questions if you have anything about Dr. Joe in our comment section in the video, and we'll do our best to feature them in our next episode. And in terms of what topics we'll be coming up with, I'll flash it right at the end of the video. Alright, so until we catch Dr. Joe, once again, this is on behalf of myself, Renee, and Dr. Joe.
Hello everybody, Dr. Joe here.
We want to say once again, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you on our very next episode.
All right.